Hey, everybody.
Hello.
I am so excited to be here today with David Alex. If you don't know me, I'm Christy Price. I'm a Squarespace web designer and tech educator, and I love teaching other designers how to work with clients without losing their minds. And I'm here today with my friend David Alex, who, David, I'll let you introduce yourself. I feel
Yeah.
like you have done so much in the world of Squarespace and web design and SEO and content creation.
I really appreciate that. And I also just want to say thank you so much for having me on. I was so excited when we started planning this chat about a month ago.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I over the last decade, I started as a freelancer. I built a website for I actually started not as a freelancer. I built my first website for a nonprofit that then led me to freelancing. And so in 2015, I think, or 2014, I built my first site. And
Mhm.
2016, I did my that's really I really went into freelancing. And
Yeah.
so yes, those were kind of there's phases. There was like 3 to 5 years of just doing website builds. And then 2020 happened and
Mhm.
then I did a lot of SEO for like
Mhm.
4 years. We did like 1,000 SEO
Mhm.
projects. And and then from there, I started content creation in like 2020 as well.
Yeah.
And now that is really where my business is and my attention overall.
Yeah, I think we initially met in 2020, online, and then we met at the first Circle Day in
Yes.
person,
Yes.
and, we've had these kind of parallel but diverging trajectories, but I feel like they're kinda coming back together again now,
Yeah,
and,
that's true. That's
and
really true. Yeah.
we were chatting about something completely unrelated to YouTube, and we started chatting about our strategies on YouTube. That's my alarm reminding me to jump onto this call.
There we go.
We started to talk about our strategies and realized that, David has so many more subscribers than I do. He's really put a lot of effort into his YouTube channel, and I
Mm,
really just started focusing on YouTube a little over a year ago. So
mm,
I feel like David is pretty far ahead in a lot of ways about YouTube. But I also, just to be encouraging, like I'm finding YouTube paying off for me already after, a year, actually before a year even passed. So I wanted to just have this conversation with David. And, if you're joining us live, feel free to drop in comments. We would love to hear from you where you are in your YouTube journey, what your questions are for us as we talk through. But I'm curious to start off about like why we created YouTube content, why we started doing that. And I'll kick us off and then I'll pitch it to you, David. But so I had a YouTube channel for years. I tried to do some YouTube videos 2019, 2020, and it was so painful, y'all. It was just rough. I mean, they're still there. If you go back and look at it, you'll be like, oof. Yeah, they were rough. And I
Can
didn't
I
enjoy it.
interrupt? Can I
Yeah.
interrupt? The
Yeah.
same. If you go back to my first videos, it's so embarrassing. It
Yes.
is definitely like I don't know what I was doing, but we all start somewhere, and that is so
Yes, and
valuable.
you have to do, like, 20 really bad videos to start getting better. So,
Yeah.
I think don't wait until you feel like good, go ahead and start. But it was just in the too hard pile for me. I was doing a ton of client work. I really wanted to focus on ways that I was growing my revenue at the time, and client work for me was what that was at the time. In retrospect, I wish I'd, focus a little more on YouTube. But in 2023, I was part of a Google Labs experiment and I saw that they were rolling out these AI snippets at the top of search results. And almost all of my business comes from Google search. And I realized people are going to get their answer in this AI snippet. They're not going to come to my website. They're not going to download something that puts them on my email list. I'm missing out on all of
Mm,
these people. And sure enough, in 2024, when this rolled out, my traffic to my website started dropping. And I think we've all seen that, as AI searches and using AI like chat. Google search was great for us for a while, and it still is. It still
mm.
plays a part, but I saw the writing on the wall. And so in February of 2023, I started doing weekly YouTube videos. And again, at the beginning, it was tough. But after a few months, it got easier. And I will be honest, I actually enjoy it now. I think it's fun. And that is really why I started doing YouTube last year again and really focusing on it, because I knew I needed another search engine for my website. And YouTube made the most sense. So that's why I started creating YouTube content. David, I'd love to hear why you started.
That is so good. That is so good. It's so real too. I Let me ask you a question. I'll share how I ended up starting and why. And there's a very specific reason I started, which isn't the reason why I do it still today. It definitely has
Uh-huh.
changed. But what was hardest for you when you did start out?
Yeah, I think the hardest for me was honestly letting go of perfectionism.
Mm,
I wanted it to look and sound and be perfect and just come across as like she knows what she's doing. And I had a moment early on when I was just, I wanted to get content out because somebody asked me a question. I was trying to answer their question. And so I ended up not editing the video as much. I left in some mistakes that I made and I left them in
mm.
the video and I posted it and I shared it with this person whose question I was answering. And she was like, "Oh my goodness, when you made that mistake and you were clicking on this instead, I do that all the time and I didn't understand why it wouldn't work." And then I
Wow.
realized
That's
that just
good.
that just was like to me, I'm like, "Okay, I'm a real human, and
Hmm.
also my mistakes may help somebody."
Yeah.
So, letting go of this kind of perfectionism and just trying to get the content there and realizing that people are there because they're
Mm,
looking for a solution, not to
yeah.
see if my lighting was great that day. It's for me, that was the hardest part.
Yeah, that is so good, and it's so, so valuable because now it's like sometimes those discoveries for me are like the most important, which we'll
Yeah.
talk more about. That has triggered a lot of things I would love to discuss. But
Yeah.
I at the time, 2019, I had my best year in business yet with
Mhm.
like designing Squarespace websites, and
Mhm.
my income had just like 3x over the course of a
Mhm.
year. I was already doing well, and now I
Mhm.
was doing like a ton of work, but I was overloaded and also wanting to have a bigger impact. It was kind of this funny, like,
Yes.
place,
Yeah.
and I realized that the education there's millions of Squarespace website
Mhm.
users, but the education I have, I can't service clients at like, if 100 clients came to me today, I
Mhm.
couldn't service all of them, but
Right.
if 100 of them watch my YouTube video, I could be
Mhm.
doing whatever I wanted, and that was the initial, like,
Yes.
premise of why I started YouTube, because I thought if I could just start creating tutorials, helping people, then they would be able to find the answers they're looking for. Potentially, I have digital products tied to it or other resources that then help them more, which still grows my business. So that was generally kind of the core area I started. The hardest part for me was in the same way, the editing. I think
Yeah.
there was like parts of teaching that I was trying to figure out, like
Mhm.
how to talk to a piece of glass is honestly like
Yes.
more intimidating than I thought, especially when I'm in an office or a room by myself. Figuring out the studio, going through all that,
Mhm.
those pieces were hard, but the hardest was, yeah, the editing and getting that right. I did
Mhm.
come up with kind of a workflow or process of hiring from overseas. So
Mhm.
currently, I have an editor in the Philippines and an
Mhm.
editor in Bangladesh. He just started with me like 6 months ago, but both of them, one is full time and one is
Mhm.
like a freelancer per project.
Yeah.
But we work consistently, but it's just per project. So right now that helps a ton because
Yeah.
I would have started YouTube earlier with the editing. Like I would do Instagram if it wasn't for
Mhm.
the editing. It's like that part
Yeah.
of it is so stressful. But if once I found that solution, that helped a ton. And I would even say this. This is kind of crazy to me. I started in 2020, August, like literally this month, 2020, so 5
Mhm.
years ago,
Mhm.
and I currently have about 18,000 subscribers, which is a great
Kudos.
number,
That's
and
awesome.
it and it's a great number, and it's also a very, it's not like what you think about with YouTube. That's just like, if you think
Yeah.
of a creator, they have
Mhm.
hundreds of thousands, they're getting offers at hundreds of thousands,
Yeah.
and we're going to talk more, but I have
Mhm.
so many offers at 18,000. I'm working with all my favorite brands. I'm working with
Mhm.
Kit. I'm working with Notion. I'm working
Mhm.
with, I've worked with other website tools. I've worked with like a ton, Otter for like
For
recording meetings.
transcripts. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I've worked with so many brands that I
Mhm.
love that I actually use, like OpenPhone,
Mhm.
and that has been incredible because I did a video for them that did really well, and now all their competitors are hitting me up. So it's crazy, and it's
That's
a wild
awesome.
wild story. But um,
Yeah.
the videos I really start to love. Like, what I mean by that too is like there was a cringe factor to my videos for a while
Yes.
where if we were in a room together with like a bunch of friends and you put my video on, I would run out of the room. That was like that that lasted for a long time. It was like not until maybe a year ago.
Mhm.
Like, check that. That's like 3 years of doing it.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm not saying like I figured it out. I'm just saying it's like it really did take just like slow progress in the right
Yeah.
direction
Yeah.
until I finally got the right camera set up. I felt better
Mhm.
about the script. I felt better about
Mhm.
the studio. Do you need
Mhm.
all this? No, but there was a level of like I'm trying to create like a product that
Yes.
businesses wanted. Like every video I do, I always have a black shirt. It's
Mhm.
very planned. It's not like
Yeah.
accidental. The angle,
Yeah.
everything doesn't move. I have like
Mhm.
my Amazon device. I don't want to say the name because it'll trigger it, but I just say
Yeah.
turn on and it turns
Yeah.
on my whole studio. So everything is like just set. I had a
Yeah.
professional come like show me like lighting settings, get everything dialed so
Yeah.
that every time I record, it's exactly the same. But that
Mhm.
happened literally a year ago. And
Uh-huh.
then there was that's 3 or 4 years before that of just me
Yeah.
trying to figure out different
Yeah.
aspects of it.
And
Uh,
that's where I am now. I don't have
mm,
like I'm still using my webcam right now. At some point I'll
yeah.
get a camera. But I think that I loved what you said about like the impetus being you wanted to kind of stop trading time for money, right? You
Yeah.
wanted to help more
Yes.
people, you wanted to scale, and I think that YouTube offers such a great place to do that. Shauna just hopped on and said
Mm.
she started her YouTube channel last week with her first video. So
Let's go.
huge congrats. And then she had a question. I think we've talked a little bit about this, but let's just say how important is polish of your content, visuals, backgrounds
Mm.
versus helpful content? And I think David really
Yeah.
hit on this. You can start off, well, I mean, like clearly look
Yeah.
at the difference in our setup. So David's is like he is working with these brands and getting high dollar sponsorships. I'm getting okay sponsorships with my
Mm.
setup. And I'm still using my webcam and my lighting isn't as good. And I just haven't figured all that out yet. But I want to show up and produce helpful content.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely getting rewarded for that. As David mentioned, brand sponsorships, my channel's now monetized,
Yeah.
things like that. So people are watching, and do I know I still have a ways to go with the setup? Absolutely. But is it going to stop me from doing what I'm doing now? No.
Mm.
So Shauna, don't let it hold you back from
Yeah.
creating content now because you can make those tweaks. I mean, David, you said it was like
Mhm.
a few years before you got to
Yeah.
the setup that you have now. I'm still on that journey. I don't think that this is the most professional setup. I do think it feels very
Mm.
real though, and I kind of
Yeah.
like it for me and the way that I teach and the things that I'm showing. But again, I'm not getting those big brand deals like
Yeah.
David is.
Well, and I'll say this. This is
Mhm.
what there's kind of 3, like, layers to this that I think about
Yeah.
with this question. So, Shauna,
Mhm.
thank you so much for writing that in. I think polish and brand matter if you're trying to do sponsorships because
Mhm.
brands don't like even in like web design, brands don't pick the best option, they pick the safest.
Mhm.
And so if they could look at all my videos or the last 10 or last 5 and see this consistent feel and say, I
Mhm.
want that, for
Yeah.
me, that's my selling point. Like that's what I push. I put my media kit alongside that kind of visual in my videos
Mhm.
because that is really where my business is going right now. It's like
Yeah.
getting brands excited about all these brands, software companies are launching new updates like every week and
Yes.
nobody knows. So they need ways to get it out there. And YouTube is a great platform for that. And that's kind of
Mhm.
where my channel is going in this, like what I'm focused on. But the other side is like, I don't think it actually matters the polish when you're talking about just helping people
Right.
and you're talking about it in terms of like search. Like
Mhm.
that side of it is so different. If you give me the answer to a problem I'm facing and you take away my pain when I go do a YouTube search trying to find an answer and you give it to me, I am going to be way more inclined to listen, watch, and engage with your video or your content just based on that. And
Yeah.
so It really that's really important to clarify because and this is where, like, YouTube looks sexy when you look at the explore
Mhm,
page, you see millions of views, you see millions of subscribers, and you think that's the only way that, like I think that was, like I feel like that thought process, I stopped using that maybe like a year ago, where I
mhm,
realized, like, probably in January actually, when I started getting hit up for more and more sponsorships and seeing how that works, and then the
mhm,
affiliate side and kind of tying all of that together, I was like, oh, whoa, this is actually very
mhm,
lucrative if you
mhm,
play a few cards right. And it also does depend on what your actual goal is. So, like, you and I do speak to these software tools.
mhm.
If you're not interested in teaching that, that's gonna be a little different. Like, if you're interested in
Yeah.
showing, like, a $5 or $10 product on Amazon, yes, you can scale that, but you do
Mhm,
need millions of views for that to get
mhm.
the affiliate amount that actually will change your life or make an impact, long term. So, some of that is, like, some factors to consider, but generally, to answer your question the simplest way, helpful content always wins. The first
Yes.
video that I had go what you would call viral, it had, like, 7,000 views when all my other videos had 7.
Mhm.
It was about Squarespace galleries in,
Mhm,
like this is before Fluid Engine, so this
mhm,
is, like, 2019, 2020. I made if
mhm.
you look at my setup, if you go to my oldest videos and you look at my setup, it's so janky, but that video did really well.
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah,
how to teach, the lighting was off, everything was I think I shot it on my phone, and that video today has, like, 40,000 views.
yeah.
I think it still gets views today, which is kind of insane,
Mhm.
because that feature doesn't exist really. So, I'll just leave that at that, but we'll leave that there.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, those are kind of my thoughts around helpful versus polished look.
And I think that was such a good point, just that differentiation between, what your goal is for your channel. And I think, David and I both were interested in monetizing our channels,
Mhm.
when we got serious about it. And we both have I mean, mine is a small channel. Like I have about 3,000 subscribers. David, would you consider yours a small channel as well with 18,000 or would you say
I mean
medium?
well, so I'd say small. I'd say
Yeah.
anything below 25 on YouTube
Okay.
is still probably there, and then
Mhm.
25 to 100 would probably be, like, medium in my opinion. I don't know, just, like, top off the top of my
Yeah.
head, and then from there, because once you have 100,000, I think you have a lot more leverage. I think that's when even, like, you could not that YouTube's a book deal place, but that's kinda where you have more I think anything 100,000 in audience, you do have a
Mhm.
lot more leverage, with any brand.
And my friend Laura's here. Hey, Laura. So glad you're here. You want to do lives. Laura is an illustrator and Adobe educator, and
Oh,
she
awesome.
is the best teacher for that software. Laura, you would be amazing at lives. And coming back to this idea of monetization, I think
Mm.
David and I are both, I mean, we're definitely at different levels here. David is farther along, but we're both at a place where I'm going to call it triple dipping. We talked about this
Yes.
before.
Yes. Yes.
So we each have monetized channels.
Mhm.
And that's not easy. So if you want to learn a little more about that, we can talk a little bit more about that as well. But we've both gotten after a lot of work to the point where our channel's monetized. We both have been paid to do sponsored videos.
Mhm.
And I think we're both pretty careful about the kind of videos that we will record for
Mhm.
sponsors. Things that we use would be valuable to our audience. That's important to both of us. But in addition to getting paid to do those videos, we also get affiliate payouts from those companies too. So we're getting money from YouTube, money to create the video, and then money from the affiliate links if other people try the
Mhm.
software that we like and recommend. And so I think that is so cool. And it's not something I really thought about ahead of time. So I have to say it was a nice surprise.
It is very much a nice surprise, and
Mhm,
you're right, and this is kind of why I do encourage people just to start sometimes, because even when I started, I
mhm.
didn't know I was gonna do, like, Squarespace tutorials. I
Yeah,
kinda it made sense, but I didn't really land there. I was like, "Maybe I'm gonna do some lifestyle stuff, some vlogging, some"
yeah.
I don't know. I was doing, like, I think there's a video that's, like, an unboxing video. Like, Like, remember that? That was a
Yes.
phase of the internet where you just watch people unbox stuff. Um,
I opened a box. Woohoo.
I know,
Yeah.
literally, it's just so funny. The internet, how it's made us all better. Uh, I I I didn't know that this is kind of where it was going to lead, and
Mhm,
then as more opportunities came, it kind of shifted and changed. And then my open phone video is kind of one that is most notable for me because
mhm,
they paid me for the sponsorship. We
mhm,
worked together on the script. I wrote the
mhm,
script, but we worked
mhm,
together on it, created the video with my team. We published it January 3rd of this year.
mhm,
And that video has brought in a ton of clicks to their website and a ton of business to them. There's a ton of
mhm,
people who have signed up, and I get a cut of every. So I got paid for the sponsorship. I
mhm,
get paid from YouTube for all the views that it
mhm,
gets. Potentially, my subscribers go up. And then at the same time, I get affiliate. And so still till today, if you and this is I want to tie this together because you mentioned this earlier, and this is why YouTube's so powerful because YouTube and Google are so integrated. If you go to YouTube and you type in open phone, just that, my
mhm.
video shows up in like right now the first spot. There might be an ad, but it shows up in like the first, maybe second spot.
Yeah.
You go to Google and you type in open phone review,
Mhm,
the Gemini results that show up, and this just changed a little bit, I think, just this last week, but a lot of the generated AI content pulls from my video,
yes.
which that was like not even on my radar when we wrote
Yeah.
the script because I
Mhm,
do say like what is open phone and some core features of open phone, which by the
mhm,
way, none of that is like unique content to me, if that
mhm.
makes sense. I am just
Yeah.
describing it, and YouTube happened to choose, and Gemini happened to choose. Thank you, Gemini. Happened to choose my content as like one of the core pieces of defining that for someone who is searching it. And
Mhm.
so that got me like it got my wheels spinning because a lot of people are searching for software all the time. And so
Yeah.
then if I could provide resources, tools and tips or tricks and even tutorials, whatever that might be to
Mhm.
get someone help them on board.
Yeah.
And then you want to take it another level. As I've gained more leverage by the growth of my channel, I've
Mhm.
asked brands to give me, if I'm doing a video for them, some type of special discount. And
Yeah.
most brands are really open to that. And it's not a
Mhm.
crazy discount, but even a small discount, which then even incentivizes the user to click on my link or use my resource even more, which then helps with the affiliate side as well. So it's like,
Yes.
it kind of favors, there's like buyer markets and seller
Mhm.
markets, like in real estate. It favors the creator if you get into the right position because now you have access to the audience and you get to choose like who you work with and who you don't.
I think that was such a key point there. I don't want that to get lost about,
Mm.
if you're doing a video and you have an affiliate link, people may not go down to the comments, to the video description and click the link or click the link in the pinned comment. But if you're offering them a discount, they're going to find your discount code with that affiliate link and use it. That's something that I've noticed too. And something that I intend to do going forward is ask for a special discount that I can pass on. So people will use my affiliate link to get that discount.
Mhm.
Otherwise,
Yes,
you may miss out on that affiliate income. Um,
totally.
yeah. I want to come back to one of the things that I was really surprised about. I don't know if this was the same for you, but when my channel got monetized, I remember joking with my family and I'm like, I'm going to have enough for a fancy latte next month. I got
Yeah.
monetized on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I got the first payout for the first, I think it was like 30 days because it was like
Mhm.
a small window before the 28 days. And it was over $600. I
Let's
was
go.
shocked. I was
Yes.
shocked. And one of the things that I want to share is that if you are in the right vertical, there
Mhm.
are these high CPM content choices you can make. So
Yeah.
David and I both talk about tech, about apps, about, business as web
Mhm.
designers, things like
Yep.
that. It's it's a higher it's a higher earning type of content.
Mhm.
So from my research, because I dove deep on this because I'm like, what, unexpected. Was this just like a windfall and it's never going to be this again? Um, from my research, it's like tech, and travel and finance are kind of the big three. So if you have
Yeah.
content in one of those areas, you can expect higher CPM. So I
Mhm.
want to say mine varies anywhere from like 120 to 180, whereas the others that I've seen for other types of content are like 10.
$10.
So
Yeah.
yeah, $10
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
$180.
Yeah.
So I think that that's one of the reasons you want to choose a specific content umbrella for your channel
Yeah.
and and stick with it. Were you surprised too when you became monetized, or had you done this research ahead of time, unlike
No,
me? Were
no,
you shocked?
again, this is all very it was very unplanned outside of, like, I just wanna reach more people and potentially
Yeah.
see the benefits of it, and
Mhm.
maybe there is one more benefit I do wanna discuss as well, which
Yeah.
is the clients who have found me through my YouTube channel. We should chat
Yes.
about that because those are
Yes.
like, that's a very unique client,
Mhm.
and it's a great experience. I'll just say it that way.
I wanna
Um
loop back to that too. That's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so I CPMs, I had no idea. I just was doing the Squarespace stuff. That's what I was seeing get the most
Mhm.
views, and so I just started going into it, and I realized there was a lot of space and no at the time, there was nobody really doing it at a high level, maybe 1 or
Yeah.
2 other designers, but
Yeah.
I just started seeing all these, like, tutorial opportunities. So
Mhm.
Squarespace how to, I created literally, like, 300 plus tutorials over the
Mhm.
course of 2 years, and was just pumping out videos on anything related to Squarespace, anything somebody had searched,
Yes.
anything around that.
Mhm.
So then I finally got monetized, I think in like 2022 at the beginning
Mhm.
of the year. And
Mhm.
at that time, I probably had 2,500 to 3,500 subs just around
Yeah.
there.
That's about where
And
I am. Yeah. Yeah.
and the numbers were very similar. I think it was about 750 that first or
Yeah.
second month in that
Yeah.
range, 700 or so,
Yeah.
and I was, like, really happy, and I was like, "Oh, there's room to grow," and the channel
Yes.
starts growing. What I would say is this,
Mhm.
my channel monetization and it's like this is the benefit of being a creative or a designer in today's world, is that I just wouldn't ever put all your eggs in one core basket now,
Yes.
because I have had AdSense kinda go up and down in other aspects of it, which we could talk
Mhm.
in more depth about, but generally, it started at about 750, kind of plateaued around 1,500, even though my subscribers continued to grow. So,
Mhm.
at in 2022, I hit about 1,500 a month, and right now, it's still about 1,500 a month, even though
Mhm.
my views have gone up, subscribers
Mhm.
have gone up. I have gone up to, like, 2,500 when I think, like,
Mhm.
all the web tools are, like, marketing more.
Yes. Can't
There
wait
are
to be there. Can't wait to
no,
join you at that level, David.
it it's coming, especially I think it's, like, the end of the year, they market a lot, like Black Friday type of things,
Mhm.
and then also
Mhm.
the beginning of the year. Those 2,
Mhm.
like, the last 3 months of the year and the first 3 months, I feel like those are the months I get the most in terms of AdSense based on
Mhm.
my current audience size and all of that.
Mhm.
So that is really exciting, uh,
Yeah.
with CPMs and the numbers there.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing those numbers. I appreciate your transparency. That's really awesome. I wanted to loop back about something that you said about clients finding you on YouTube,
Mm,
because
yeah,
that was something that I hadn't really, I wanted people to find me on YouTube like they were finding my blog posts and sign up for my newsletter and that sort of thing. But one of the really interesting things is that I find that people are purchasing my courses and digital products more who
mm,
find me on YouTube because maybe they identify with my teaching style, or,
mm,
this I'm learning
it's
stuff.
good.
Let me support this creator who's teaching me things by purchasing one of her courses. So that to me has been really wonderful, and something that I didn't necessarily expect, but I had hoped
Mhm,
for. Um, and, you mentioned that clients were finding you on
yeah.
YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube is interesting because we've talked about, like, the big 3, right?
Mhm,
Affiliates,
mhm,
sponsorships, AdSense, those are
mhm,
huge. You
mhm.
also add in, like, digital products,
Yeah.
the one that is most interesting to me, I think the biggest value is the trust you build with a potential
Mhm.
client who's ready to spend a lot of money with you, and
Yeah.
that's on the service-based side of it. So, you
Mhm,
could be building a lot of trust with people who then
mhm.
see your services and say, "I wanna work with this person." So,
Yeah.
some of my best web projects, some of my largest have come from YouTube. They're not and I don't push it hard, so that's probably a
Mhm.
different side of it, but if you
Yeah.
push it hard, you may have more consistency. It's not
Mhm.
consistent, so it's not like necessarily I wouldn't put my whole business on that for
Right.
finding services as of right now, especially again, I don't push that too hard,
Mhm.
but when it does come to the clients who have come to me from my YouTube channel,
Mhm.
uh, they have been some of the best. Why? Because there's already built trust. They
Mhm.
don't come to me and they're not vetting me too
Mhm.
much. Like there's like a
Mhm.
vetting process of does this work in this project? But they're like, this is the guy who needs to build my site. How do we
Yeah.
get started? I've had
Yeah.
probably I could think of 5 projects that were all above $10,000 that
Mhm.
came website projects that I didn't have to sell them at all. They were
Yeah.
sold on me before I
Mhm.
even talked to them, which that was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's actually really powerful, especially too if you do find the right niche and if you're like the
Mhm.
illustrator and you're designing
Yeah.
things that are really gonna be high end and that the users are gonna love and they're willing to spend a lot of money on,
Mhm.
uh, that's really interesting.
I love that point, and I think to some degree, I saw that with Google search, so showing up as, like, when you Google Squarespace web designer,
Yeah.
showing up in the first few results, it had a
Mhm.
similar effect. People were like, "Oh, this person must know what they're doing if they're showing up
Mhm.
here," and I think even more for YouTube, to your point, they feel like they know you from YouTube, which is very different, far more personal.
Yeah.
And that's a really lovely point, just in terms of how you can grow your business in another way through YouTube. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit about strategies for growing your channel. And
Mhm.
this is something that I've really focused on this past year.
Yep.
So, uh, I started out with so February of last year was when I really started doing these weekly videos and making
Mm.
time and making an effort for YouTube. And it wasn't until July. So from February to July, I was just making videos. And I had a conversation with LaShonda Brown, and she's like, "How are you getting people on your email list?" And I was like, "Oh, that was the whole point of this. And I have not been getting people on my email
Mm.
list."
Yeah.
And and then I started thinking about how can I create something that gets people on my list, but also keeps them coming back for more because I needed more watch hours in the past
Mhm.
365 days to get monetized. And so
Yeah.
at that point, I realized that I had a lead magnet that was a Squarespace pre-launch checklist with about 50 things on it. And I was like, oh, duh, I should make a video for each of those 50 things. And it took a long time, but I have a playlist now that has a video for each of those things. So when somebody downloads my checklist,
Awesome.
if they find a blog post, they download the checklist, they are pointed to the videos. If they happen to find one of the videos, they
Mm.
download the checklist and watch the other videos. So
It's
that's
great.
been my strategy. Now
Yeah.
that I'm done with that, I'm like, oh, what's next? So I'd love to hear from you, David. What are some of your strategies for growing your
Yeah.
channel?
That's so good. I think there are so YouTube is primarily 2 kind of avenues, right?
Mhm.
The explore side, where you type in youtube.com and you
Mhm.
land on the page, and
Yeah.
then you start to click on whatever you see, and YouTube is, like, showing your videos.
Mhm.
But when you're talking about solving business problems and things, you're gonna
Mhm.
really wanna be more in that SEO space or kind of what questions people are having and being in the
Mhm.
area of when they're asking those questions of, like,
Mhm.
trying to show up, whether it's a Google search or a YouTube search.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where my priority is in terms of content I create, like new videos I create. Whether if it's not a
Mhm.
sponsorship, if I was going to create a video, a lot of
Yeah.
people are searching for how to build apps with like no code tools.
Mhm.
So I'll do a video on one of those tools,
Mhm.
knowing that that is a relevant topic in that space. And YouTube is really good at being able to position your content on different kinds of searches around that area
Mhm.
and then it's also evergreen, that side I love. But what I did when I started, which is so valuable, I think, for anybody, is just go to YouTube,
Mhm.
and I forget the proper names for this, but just go to YouTube and then type in the niche that you're trying to, like, create videos for.
Mhm.
So if it was like Canva, I type in Canva and then, like, how to,
Mhm.
and then I'd see all the results that are coming up and literally just take a screenshot of that and just start creating videos on that. Even if I
Mhm.
think it's simple,
Mhm.
those are some of my best videos.
Agreed.
Oddly enough, the
Agreed.
simplest stuff, like how to link
Yeah.
an image, it's
Mhm.
like you think like, "Oh, no, that's not a big deal." It's like, "No, no, no, actually, that's a huge deal." The simplest things, how to, like,
One
publish something.
one of my highest earning videos is how to add an email link to your email address on
Yeah,
Squarespace. Like,
totally.
it's things that you and I are like, "Oh, everybody knows
Yeah,
this."
everybody knows
They
that, yeah.
they don't, and they're looking for the solution. So I think that's a great point. And are you using SEO tools when you're creating your title? Because I started using TubeBuddy, and it gives me a nice little score for YouTube. I can see what other videos people have created and what the views are on that.
Yeah.
So that's been really helpful for me. I'm curious if you have apps that you're using.
Yeah, I would love your thoughts if you found how useful you have found that tool or any
Mhm,
tool that anybody finds. Because for me, I haven't found anything like Google search. I'm really
mhm.
good at finding numbers and
Yeah.
sorting through that. With YouTube search, I don't feel there's clear data anywhere, and the data I've seen is kind of it doesn't connect. So what I just described of like seeing the results, like if it loads a bunch of results, those
Mhm.
are things that people are actually searching that are
Yeah.
relevant topics. If you start typing in words and it just kind of pre-fills that one word for
Mhm.
you, that's just helping you. That's just an assistant. That's not
Yeah.
necessarily, it doesn't mean that that is actually something people search a lot.
Mhm.
So the difference there is really important because then what people are actually searching, and then I run against some of these tools I've seen. I haven't done a lot of research here, but I
Yeah.
never found anything that kind of matched up with that. And
Mhm.
so I just kind of prioritize using that. I did use TubeBuddy for a while. I probably wasn't using it right because there's like an extension and the tool.
Yeah,
I got confused a little bit, but
it's confusing. The interface is not great, but I do like it for some things. So I
yeah,
don't
I would.
know. I'll show it to
Uh,
you, David, and you can be like, "No, my method
yes,
is
please.
better." Yeah, so we'll schedule another time for that and talk about TubeBuddy.
Yes.
But I think that, yeah, if you don't wanna spend money on software yet, your advice is so great. Just type it in and see what there is. And
Yeah.
people are searching for that, and you'll see videos that other people have created. And I think one thing is really cool is to look at a couple of those, see what questions they got that maybe their video
Mhm.
didn't answer, and then answer those questions in your video.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so every video you make, you start to prioritize, am I optimizing for the search side or the
Yeah.
explore page? Because those are kind
Mhm.
of different avenues. And
Mhm.
then once you get more clear on that, then you're able to create content based on that. And then the title, thumbnail, and then the hook all are like
Mhm.
attached to that. And then from there, it becomes a game of just creating the I like to say just make as many videos as you can,
Yeah.
that's feasible because honestly, like, people are searching for all of the topics today, like, right now,
Mhm.
and so the more you get videos out there is just better. The other thing I'd say is, like, there also is indirect benefits, and I think this is
Mhm.
something that doesn't get talked about as much because it's not a clear benefit, but the indirect benefits of YouTube or a course or anything is that it just builds you as the authority even more. So even if you don't
Mhm.
get a ton of views, but you say,
Mhm.
"Hey, I have 50 videos on my YouTube channel that are going to
Yeah.
help you after the fact or are content and resources that you could check out to learn more about me and my teaching style or how I
Mhm.
build and all of that." Even if you're not getting a lot of views, that's not a
Mhm.
problem because now it's an indirect support showing that you are an authority on the subject. So having a YouTube channel, having a course, having any of that stuff is just helpful generally in positioning you as an authority. The other kind of
Yeah.
side to that is then the more places you're in, the more places people can find you, even
Mhm.
for things you don't consider. So people
Yeah.
found me on YouTube to do ads for them for
Mhm.
short form content. It's
Mhm.
like that's not why I published that video or whatever, but
Yeah.
that was the way people found me. I'm now writing articles as well for like a company based on like for like Squarespace articles for them. They
Mhm.
have a ton of like impressions or views on readers on their blog,
Uh-huh.
and so I'm writing content for them. So I'm just getting paid to be the expert to help
Mhm.
them get content, which is like they found me through content I had already developed, and it already
Mhm.
positions me as an authority as well against other people who may want who may be up as a candidate for that
Yeah.
role. And so that type of stuff is all the indirect benefits. So you have like 6 or 7 ways of making money directly on YouTube that we talked
Mhm.
about before. And then there's
Mhm.
these indirect benefits of just showing you as the authority, or you're on a sales call again, they might not even have found you on YouTube, but you let them know you have a YouTube channel. I think that is
Yeah.
a great way to boost your image and your
Mhm.
authority and
Mhm.
social proof really quickly.
And I want to pick up that thread about authority. I think that's so important today, especially with more people relying on AI tools
Yeah.
like ChatGPT. ChatGPT is making recommendations because it's mathing, right? It's not thinking, it's just doing
Yeah.
math. The more
Yep.
places you are mentioned or show up as an expert,
Mhm.
ChatGPT is like calculating that. And they're like, oh, do you need this? David Alex is your person.
Yeah.
So just another thing to think about, as you're looking at other avenues to share your work or other channels, other social channels, just keep that in mind. The more places
Yeah.
you're showing up with your expertise, the more likely you're going to be served up by these generative engine optimization tools. It's
Yes.
just part of it. Yeah.
And maybe I'll say this, though
Mhm,
there's one tool, there's a few, but there's one
mhm,
tool, no, I'll say 2
mhm,
that are game changers for me. And I know Apple is like adding this to their like repertoire of just their built-in features,
mhm.
but one of them is called Paste. And you'll understand why it's important in a moment. But Paste
Uh-huh.
is the tool that saves everything you copy. So
Okay.
if you copied something right now and then you copy the next thing, right? It's like you lose what you just copied. But
Mhm.
basically, it'll save everything you copied,
Uh-huh.
and I love it because it helps with affiliate links, which will lead to the second tool.
Yes.
Affiliate links are so important to keep
Mhm.
handy and also be ready to change at any point. So I know I'm kind of switching gears here, but these are the things
No,
that I think make YouTube like
yes.
way better.
Uh-huh.
Is the other tool is called short.io, and I use that tool all the time for my referral links. It's basically an intermediary, and I am publishing a video on my channel that's just
Mhm.
talking through my content workflow, so you could see all
Uh-huh.
this like in the next 2 or 3 weeks. The video just got
Awesome.
finished, I think, today, so
Mhm.
it just got has to get scheduled. But the idea there is you get an affiliate link from whatever company. You
Mhm.
usually just paste that in your video, in
Mhm.
your blog, whatever. But the
Mhm.
problem is when they need to update it or change it, you have to somehow remember where you put it.
Everywhere you've shared it. Yes, I do
And
something similar. Yeah.
it is so
Mhm.
I think TubeBuddy offers something where you could like replace links, but it's so time consuming. Stuff can happen, a lot of issues can happen. So it's stressful. So basically you create like a short link, which is like, for me, it's like go.davidalex.com. And then I
Mhm.
just do forward slash whatever brand it is. So if it's
Mhm.
Squarespace, it's just forward slash Squarespace, forward slash like Otter, forward slash Notion, whatever the tool is and the affiliate
Mhm.
link is. I just basically submit the affiliate link to them, then create this unique link that then I could use on all my platforms. And if I have to change the affiliate link, then I
Mhm.
can go just change it in short.io, and I'm good
Mhm.
to go across anywhere I've posted it. But then going back to Paste, this is like
Yeah.
where it's super valuable,
Uh-huh.
is that I could open up Paste and
Mhm.
search, and I just type in forward slash whatever the tool is.
Mhm.
And my link shows up and boom. Like, so if we were messaging on Slack and
Yeah.
it was like, hey, I'm looking for a new tool that does this, I
Uh-huh.
could grab my affiliate link literally in 2 seconds, send it to you, and right then and there, I'm able to share it in a unique, powerful way without me having to like remember or find it or any of that
Yeah.
stuff.
So
That one is a game changer.
I love that you shared this. I do the exact same thing with a slightly different tech stack.
Okay.
So, but before I dive into that, Linda says she started podcasting on YouTube, which helps a lot with SEO and the watch hours. So, yes, Linda, I started.
Oh,
Will Myers and I have a podcast for Squarespace designers called Somewhat Useful. We started doing lives for that rather than just going straight to the podcast apps. And I agree, it has been tremendously helpful. So, that's a great point. Thank you for
that's
sharing.
that's really
Um,
good. Yes.
yeah. So I've been blogging since 2018, 2019. Blogging was really where I started creating content and how I started showing up in search results as Squarespace web designer. And I started doing affiliate marketing with my blog. And just like David mentioned, I swear people change their affiliate systems too many times. Like
Too
they would
many
be like,
times. Yeah.
we're on partner stack. No, no, now we're on affiliately. No, no, now we're
Yep.
on. And so as you pointed out, I would have to remember everywhere. It was in an email that I can't go update. It was in a
Yeah.
blog post. It was in a video. It was on Instagram. Can't update that anymore. It's just all these places. And it was so frustrating. So I did
Yeah.
exactly what you did, except I use a tool called Rebrandly, and it's free up
Okay.
to so many clicks a month. And I
Awesome.
bought the domain christyprice.link, and that's what I use.
Mm,
So
it's great.
christyprice.link/Termageddon is my Termageddon affiliate
Great.
link. And
Yes.
same thing. I don't use Paste, but I do have a Notion database of all my affiliate links.
It's great.
So the company, the link, the dashboard, so I can log in and check how things are going.
Oh, that's
And
smart.
well, I mean, yours is smart too because yours Paste, it's right at hand all the time.
Mm,
So I just wanted to point out because there are a lot of different ways to do this,
yeah.
but the important thing is to create that system that David mentioned in the first place. So you're not dealing with broken affiliate links that years later could be bringing in income for you. So
Yeah.
those short links, the customized short links are key.
Yes, and I would even recommend this is like
Mhm.
I did a video, 5 best website builders or something like that,
Yeah.
and I talked about Squarespace, Wix, Webflow, Framer,
Mhm.
and something else, and I didn't necessarily have affiliates with all of them, but I
Uh-huh.
still created a special link. So instead of
Yes.
just doing webflow.com, I still create that special link because if in the future that video does pop off, or I can show I've gotten 500 clicks to this link, guys. Like,
Yeah.
let's do an affiliate together because you apply to a
Mhm.
lot of these programs. I
Yes.
can show them or use that as leverage in a way of building a good relationship or whatever with that brand.
Genius.
And then I already have it set up as well. If
Yeah.
later on I do get approved, I don't have to still go find it or remember. It's like any major link I am sending out all the time. Like even my website, I have a short link
Yeah.
for, which is
Mhm.
kind of funny because it's my website. But my Gumroad, where all my digital products are, it's just
Yeah.
basically that go.davidalex.com/products. And then it takes you to those products directly. And just having that in my head, I always know I just type in / whatever, and then
Mhm.
it'll be somewhere in my paste because I've probably copied it in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
I love what you described of the other side of it, and this is kind of like a rabbit trail, but
Yeah.
what you described is all those tools, trying to
Mhm.
track all those tools. Like I
Mhm.
love Partner Stack. I actually check my account there daily because it is growing like daily.
Yeah.
But Impact is really hard to log into. I don't enjoy that
Ugh,
one. But
if
then
I never had to log into
I
Impact
if
again, it would be a great life.
It'd be a great life, yes. I'm so surprised by all the companies that use them, and I think
Mhm.
they promise a great back end, but their front end experience is just really, really
Nightmarish.
cumbersome. It's yeah,
Nightmarish. Yeah.
it, like, shut down on me yesterday out of the blue. I was like,
Of
I'm like,
course.
"I don't know what is going on." The other one is
Every time I log
reward.
in, it's like, "You're on a new computer," and I'm like, "No, I'm not. It's the same
No,
computer."
it's
It
not.
like
It's literally
it
the same
it
one,
makes me
and then it's
name
like
it something else. It's like,
yeah.
"Name this computer." I'm like, "It's the
No,
same computer I'm always
no,
on.
literally.
So
I know,
why
and
is
then
this step here?"
so funny. It's literally so and then it asks you to name your computer. I'm like, "Dude,
Yes.
it's literally the same exact
Yeah.
device. I don't know what's
Yes.
going on." Rewardful has, like they
Yes.
don't do multiple you can't have, like, 5 affiliate programs in one. You have to have separate accounts for all of them.
Yes. Mhm.
And so I use my password manager. That helps me there, keep track
Yeah.
of those, but I love the idea of just having a sheet because I do forget, and, like, potentially
Mhm.
there's money sitting in places for me
Yes,
that
because
I
some places
literally just
require
don't
you to go
remember.
check it and then withdraw it. They don't automatically
Yeah,
send it to you. Yeah, and
yeah,
so, like, I have those highlighted on my Notion database. It's like, "Hey, go check. There might be money
that's
sitting there
smart.
for you." Yeah.
That's really smart. I think I need to build that because I have so many of those links and I'm, like, not tracking them, and sometimes something could be popping off and you don't
Yeah.
know, and again,
You
that's
don't
the
know.
power of YouTube. It's just
Mhm.
evergreen, the links are easily accessible.
Mhm.
I have started 2 things that might be helpful for you as well as you think
Mhm.
about this, maybe you're already doing this, is, like, anytime I do a video, I always do the promotion within the first 90 seconds, roughly 90 to
Mhm.
120 seconds. I always
Mhm.
prioritize that. I don't
Mhm.
do it at the end because there's different, like, systems of like thought around this. But for me, I
Mhm.
know that the drop off rate is gonna by 3 minutes, 4 minutes into the video,
Yeah.
less than 50% of the
Yeah.
people who started the video will
Mhm.
still be there. So
Mhm.
I just want to show people who are interested that there is a discount
Mhm.
available. So I always try to
Mhm.
prioritize that in the video. And then, yeah, that first link in the description is always going to be that affiliate link. So people have easy access to it
Mhm.
anytime I publish.
Yeah, that is such good advice in terms of calling out that promo early in the video because you're right, that drop off happens fast. People have 0 attention span, so I think that's great. I also had not thought about setting up short links for proving clicks, showing clicks, even if I don't
Mm,
have an affiliate link for it, but creating a
yeah.
short link, that is genius, really smart. Thank you so much for sharing that too. So
Mm,
yeah, just really great systems. I think even if you're getting started with your YouTube channel to just go ahead and get these systems in place. So
yeah.
as you grow, you're not going back and updating old descriptions of old videos, but you already have these systems in place because that's actually something I'm doing now. I hired my daughter to go back and update descriptions with corrected links and with short links because I didn't always do
Yeah.
this. So, start off with those systems in place, I think is excellent advice.
Yeah, trying to replace hundreds of links on hundreds of videos is like
Yeah.
it was so time consuming. It took so much energy to try to remember
Yeah.
what is where and all of that.
Yeah.
So definitely recommend it.
Yeah. Well, we've got just a few minutes left, David. Do you have any tips or advice you wanna share?
First of all, I didn't realize we had been talking already
It
for
has
this
been so
long.
much fun.
I know, this is great. This is great. We could do it again.
Yeah.
I'll say this too, I
Mhm.
think Kate Scott is doing an event in October. I don't
Mhm.
know, like, dates and stuff, but if you go
Mhm.
follow her, she could I'm doing a talk on a very similar topic for specifically, like,
Awesome.
designers, so YouTube and designers, and growing there, but I think, like, if what we talked about earlier, if your challenge is like the editing process, do
Mhm.
whatever you can to find an editor, and I do it
Mhm.
overseas. What I would recommend is find a video you love that you think you could emulate to the best of your
Mhm.
ability, right? Like, don't go pull like a high production thing. Just find a
Mhm.
video that you feel is close to the style and design and format you like, music, all of that. As much as you could get clear on that, and then record your own and have people do test projects for you.
Mhm.
And honestly, you could find great videos around, depending on the country and things, but 50 to 200 bucks per video. And
Yeah.
it's something that you could definitely get built out, scale, and work from there. Um, that's a huge one that I think stops people. The other one is like when I first started, my goal was do 100 videos. It wasn't the perfect video, it wasn't polished videos, it was
Yeah.
do 100 videos. Once I hit
Yeah.
100, my goal just basically went to 1,000. Yes, I've polished things up, but my goal is just publish every single week something, if not multiple things. Uh, I've kind of overcome the fear of recording and doing that. So I don't necessarily like if I miss a week, it's not a huge deal. But those things do matter a lot in terms of
Mhm.
just build the right muscles you need to. If you haven't gone to the gym in a while,
Mhm.
you don't need to overthink like how you do every little detail at like you just gotta get into a habit of going to the gym.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the first thing is like with
Mhm.
YouTube is just get into the habit of doing it. Content creation is a surprising journey. I think that's the funnest part of it. You don't know
Mhm.
what's going to work and you don't know what's going to hit. Some people sell a ton of digital products because the value and what they're talking about just all like resonate in a certain way that leads to that. That wasn't my initial case, but now sponsorships, I'm literally working with
Yeah.
every single brand I love, like in a direct relationship with the
Love it.
company. And
Yeah.
then they love me because now they're like, oh, like we could send them more stuff or new ideas and things like that.
Yeah.
It is really incredible. I feel so like honored when I also am like, I thought you'd wait until I have 80,000 or
Yeah.
180,000.
Yeah.
And you're talking to me like we're friends at like
Mhm.
18,000, which has just been a really cool experience. And
Mhm.
it's really got me thinking about how to like really focus in my channel more. I have
Mhm.
gone from just doing Squarespace to now I cover
Mhm.
software for small
Yeah.
business owners,
Yeah.
and that is my position in the market. I really help
Mhm.
get software in front of the right people for these
Mhm.
companies.
I love that, and I think that that's a really good point is that you don't have to start out having an exact plan. You can change, you can pivot as you go, but the most important thing is to just get started, and
Yeah.
I think one thing that I'll add to what you said is I think consistency is important. So I do a video a week that goes live
Mhm.
on Wednesday afternoons. And so
Awesome.
YouTube knows, the algorithm knows to expect that. And I think that building that consistency can be really helpful too.
Mhm.
If you're not ready to hand off editing of your videos, so, David, I know you've started early
Mhm.
on having editors. I actually still edit myself. And Linda had a
Oh,
question
awesome.
about that, what
Mhm,
software I use for recording and editing. I use a software called Descript. And it was actually one of the things that made it much easier for me to record and edit. And
mm,
it simplified my workflow so much that I don't feel like it takes very long for me to edit a video. Now, I'm not doing the kind of high end videos that David is doing. I'm not attracting kind of the level of sponsorship he is, but I am getting some sponsors for my 3,000 subscriber channel,
mhm,
and I'm doing it on a shoestring budget. I'm editing myself,
yeah,
and it feels pretty doable. So Linda, if you're, there is of course a cost for Descript, but it's less than if you were hiring
mhm.
an editor for your video. So if you want to do it yourself at first, just get started, test this out before making a bigger investment. I really like Descript. And I dropped that in the comments as well.
And I'll say this about
Yeah.
I use Descript all the time.
Uh-huh.
Actually, so when my video's finalized, I upload it to YouTube and Descript. I pull
Uh-huh.
the SRT file, the
Mhm.
description, the timestamps,
Mhm.
um, any kind of other information there. I always use it
Yeah.
as kind of a
Yeah.
backup or just pulling that. It
Mhm.
makes it so easy. If I may get into doing some more shorts, there's a longer story there of why I don't do shorts right now. I did them and then I stopped and then I may get
Uh-huh.
back into it. But if I do shorts, I would love to do my core video with a short and then that's like paired together. So
Yeah.
if somebody sees it, they click on it and then they see the
Mhm.
long format. That could
Mhm.
be interesting. But
Mhm.
Descript could potentially do that for me, all of that without
Yes.
me adding any extra bells and whistles or anything,
Yeah.
which is pretty awesome. And I'll say this, maybe a few like kind of notes. I do have on my website
Mhm.
a blog post that goes through all my equipment. I don't do it like don't just go for the equipment. If you're getting started, focus on just getting started. Create helpful content. That's it.
Mhm.
Like answer someone's problem, like bring a solution to somebody's question. Start
Yes.
there. But if you are looking for like, okay, well, I'm really interested in the camera or whatever, I do have a list of all of that on my website
I'm going to
currently.
drop the link right now into chat. So it's a studio setup
Yeah.
article. Yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
great. So
Perfect.
you can check that out. I'm still using my webcam. I have a Shure MV6 mic, which is
Oh,
a less
yes.
expensive option, but it works pretty well. And then like a giant light there because I don't have any windows in this room that count. So,
Oh,
uh,
that's great. It
yeah.
actually feels like I don't know, when I saw it, it felt like
Mhm.
natural, like in a very
Oh,
natural way. Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
Right.
But just all that to say that, when you're starting, do what you can with what you have
Yeah.
and grow from there. Maybe once you get monetized, you could take that money and reinvest it into equipment or editors, or like me, go, "Woohoo, fun money."
Yeah.
Either way. I do want to say, going back to what we talked about earlier, is YouTube is not an income stream that I will count on. I
Mhm.
think it's a nice to have because I
Yeah.
don't have any control over what those CPMs are for my content, how many people are viewing. That could change in an instant.
Mhm.
So I do think it's a really lovely income stream that I've added, but I'm not counting on that money. It's not like trying to market my digital products or working with clients. Like, those are sure things that
Yeah.
I can control. So as you are starting this, I would just caution you to think of it as something that you could add to your revenue, but it's
Mhm.
not something that I would plan to pay your mortgage with.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So good.
David, we are at time, but it's funny, when we were chatting initially, I'm like, oh, 30 minutes. We chatted for an hour. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with me about just being transparent about your channel and
Mm.
your growth and how you're working on YouTube. Thank you so much for everybody who joined us live. And if you're watching the replay, drop in the comments, or if you're here live still, let
Mhm.
us know. Do you have a YouTube channel yet?
Yeah.
Is it something you're thinking about? What questions do you have around it? And maybe David and I could come back and chat again, in a few weeks about whatever other topics you are interested in learning about YouTube. Um,
Yes.
thanks, Laura. Thanks, Shauna. Appreciate you both being here. And David, thank you so much.
No, thank you. It was an honor to be here.
Thank you.